With 10 with the new math. Okay, 4 and 4 is 10 with the new math. The last time I had lights like this, I was arrested. They took me in this little room and there was this light bulb that came down. They kept me in there overnight. But I wouldn't tell them anything, so you guys are safe.
Don't say a word. All right. Check, check, 1, 2. We good? We got a microphone?
Oh yeah.
All right, kids, what I thought we'd do is just do a round robin here. Do a song, story, song, story.
Song,
right?
story, song, story.
You want to do that?
Sure. Do I get to sing?
Are you going to bring another mic up? All right. You mean you don't want Sam to share?
We can share, huh?
We can share. We can share.
See, if we have to sit really close together
They like
to
each
share
other.
the microphone.
I don't know why.
Hey, he's my chaperone, my escort,
He's your crutch most of the
the
time.
crutch. Yeah, last weekend he was my gopher. He gophered my lunch and he would go over here for my other stuff. He just gophered everywhere for me.
Thanks, Thatch, because that's usually what I have to do. All right, we're going to start out. I heard a song a long time ago by DeLeeuw, and I couldn't find it. I didn't know what the title was. I kept asking people if they knew the song "This Horse Knows Our Way Home." No one knew that. I even asked Bobby Jensen, who actually played piano and organ for DeLeeuw, if he knew that song. He said, no. It's called Old Paint. I'm going to do that for you now. Riding back from town tonight, we don't need the pale moonlight. This old horse knows his way home. I don't need to touch the reins. He's right on track just like a train. This old horse knows his way home. This old horse knows his way home. Cowboy blues fade to black in that old bunkhouse rack, while I whistle back in the saddle. Waits faithfully to save me from poker games and painted ladies. This old horse knows his way home. When my part of pay is gone, I climb up and just hold on. This old horse knows his way home. This old horse knows his way home. Cowboy blues fade to black in that old bunkhouse rack, while I whistle back in the saddle again. town tonight. We don't need the pale moonlight. This old horse knows his way home. Yeah, this horse knows our way home. My horse will take me home. Thank you. All right. Back to you, Parker.
Well, this is a classic poem, and it's one of my favorites. It's written by an old-time cowboy poet, Bruce Cascadden, and he wrote this poem about an old horse. It's called Forgotten. Yes, he used to be a cow horse that was young and strong and fleet. Now he stands alone, forgotten in the winter snow and sleet. For his eyes are dim and hollow, and his head is turned gray. He has got too old to follow, just a horse that's had his day. They have forgotten how once he packed him, had an easy swing and lope, how he braced his sturdy shoulders when he sat back on a rope. Didn't bear no weight nor distance, answered every move and word, though his sides were white with lather, while he held the millet herd. But now he's stiff and old and stumbles, and he's lost that strength and speed that once took him through the darkness round point of stampede. And his legs are scarred and battered, both the muscle and the bone. He's just a worn-out cow horse, so they turned him out alone. They have turned him out to winter best he can amongst the snow. They're without a friend who moats him. Do you think he doesn't know? Through the hours of the swimming darkness, he had time to think a lot. That horse may have been forgotten, but you bet he ain't forgot. He stands still, he ain't none worried, for he knows he's played the game. He's got nothing to back up from. He's been squared and ain't ashamed. For no matter where they put him, he's game to do his share. Well, I think more of the pony than the folks that put him there.
There's an outfit called Path International. It used to be called NARI, National Association of Riding for the Handicapped of America. And they do some miraculous thing because they take these old gentle horses, been on the ranch for years and years and years, and they take them to where they're pretty much bomb-proof, and they take patients who are, severely crippled, everything from Down syndrome children to just about every possible handicapped result, and the results are fantastic. They've really helped a lot of people just by putting them on the back of a horse. And this is a song that I wrote for Path International. It's called Ticket to the Sky. There's an old horse dozing in the morning sunshine. His ranch work days are long since at an end. A van pulls up and parks beside the manger. A smiling boy waits while the ramp extends, and Bobby's wheeled out to meet his friend. See that yellow horse with the midnight mane tail? His back is cut in half with one black line. Bucky's hard to catch, but once the saddle's on, help me on his back so he can fly. Bucky, he's my ticket to the sky. Riding on an airplane's not the same as this. I'm connected to a beating heart and mind. The rhythm of the hoof writes its own melody, singing to my heart, oh let me fly. Bucky, he's my ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. We're all born with our limits and our challenges. We're only here for little lengths of time. But thank you, Lord, for giving us these four-footed friends. And Bucky, thanks so much for being mine. Bucky, you're my ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Won't you ride beside me for a little while? It feels so good to look you in the eye. From up here the world all looks brand new again. Bucky, he's my ticket to the sky. Bucky, he's my ticket to the sky. We're all born with our limits and our challenges. We're only here for little lengths of time. But thank you, Lord, for giving us these four-footed friends. And Bucky, thanks so much for being mine. Bucky, you're my ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky. Ticket to the sky.
Oh yeah, now not all horses are as good as old Bucky. Let me tell you. I bought Buster at the sale barn. Now paper said he'd been worked around cows. A paint, tall, muscled, agile. Hey, he's worth the money, I allows. Now my Ghostbuster was aptly named. When ghosts appear, he whirls and spins. They come at him from everywhere as he busts tree trunks off machines. This cow horse is afraid of cows. Crazed fear, his only reaction. Screams and yells and vulgar language don't stop his backward direction. But paper said he'd been worked round cows. Way around is what they meant. To mooey cows, he won't get close. To back, then run is his intent. And cow kicking is not uncommon. My kneecaps are purple and black, festering greens, yellows, and reds from a gall darn ghost attack. Now, he sucks air when I saddle up. Hates a latigo cinched up tight. He bolts and bogs and goes to bucking, and I'm a jerking reins with knuckles white. Well, he busts apart, the saddle slips. He's blowing snot, his eyes go curled. Green stuff exploding from both ends. And I grab for leather, but I get tossed. Coming to, I feel Buster's breath, hot and steamy like a banshee. His lips are curled, his teeth are bared, and blue eyeballs are staring down at me. Well, he's tall at over 16 hands. Tries to bite me as I get on. Well, I kick his teeth, swing back aboard, he bites my boot. 3 toes are gone. Short of a vet's lobotomy. I tried everything I could. Oh, the horse whisperers that I've been to said, oh, he's just misunderstood. Must have had a bad experience. Surely could have been mistreated. Well, they don't talk about all us cowboys he's maimed and left defeated. Buster's going back to the sale barn, along with all his woo phantom friends. A new dog food line comes to mind. Ghostbuster beef and equine blends. Now the sale will ask me about this horse. To the ringmaster I'll reply. Why, Buster's tall, quick, agile. Around your cows, he'll really fly. Someone else can take this cayuse, his hallucinations and his ills, and I'll take the money from the sale for my overdue doctor bills.
That's a true story.
When his marbles were right, he was good.
I never saw him when his marbles were quite right. We're up on the Grace River Road. Just riding along, just enjoying the day. Heard a cattle stepped out of the pines. Buster was gone.
He could side pass faster.
Dave Stamey wrote a song about me. At least that's what I told him. He said, yeah, you and everybody else who wanted to be a cowboy. I started chewing tobacco when I was a kid. I thought it'd make me look mature. Really sad to say, that's exactly what it did. 'Cause when your teeth fall out, you look older, that's for sure. I rode bulls and bareback broncs when I was young. It was like I'd had my brain removed. Now both my hips are shot, both my knees are sprung. I'm not sure what I was trying to prove. I am not old, I've just been used rough. It ain't the age, it's the mileage, boy. When things start to come unwound, I am not old, I've just been used rough. It's a wonder that I'm even still around. Well, I'm humped up against the rain, squinted against the sun. The wind has blown the moisture out of me. And now the wrinkles on my face, they remind me of what I've done. It's a hieroglyphic autobiography. I am not old, I've just been used rough. Drank whiskey by the gallon, now I take Motrin by the pound. I am not old, I've just been used rough. I've just been used rough. wonder that I'm even still around. Now the women and the worries, they put my hairline in full retreat. What is left is gone and talcum powder gray. Every time some Boy Scout tries to help me cross the street, I pin him to the wall with my cane, and I say, I ain't old boy, I ain't old. I've just been used rough, just been used rough. Ran vodka by the gallon, now I take ibuprofen by the pound. I am not old, I've just been used rough, just been used rough. It's a wonder that I'm even still around. It ain't the age, it's the mileage, boys, when things start to come unwound.
Well, I believe this session is about horses and horsemen,
Yeah.
horse people, and I do this one a lot for Cowboy Church, but I was really feeling that I kind of had to do this poem. It's called Horseback Religion. Now, a cowboy makes his living horseback. Most Sundays, he's on the range. To the preacher and the deacons, this may seem a little strange, but he never missed a chance to worship just because he's not in town. God built the range he works on, and he sees them all around. When the snow melts in spring and the grass starts coming on, it renews the cowboy's spirit like the night he's waited dawn. He looks out over his horse's ears and watches the sun come up. God's building a new day around him, and it sure enough fills his cup. He watches a little range cow as she licks her newborn calf. And that's God working before his eyes, and it beats the city 1.5 miles. There's wildlife all around him, all following nature's course. No man lives closer to God than the one that does it on a horse. Now, a cowboy's wild and reckless may not stop to count the cost, but he knows his knicker better than some that think he's lost. A good cowboy won't mistreat a horse or let his company down. He won't lie about what he's done, but he may draw loose when he's in town. He'll ask the Lord's forgiveness, the same as all the rest, and rope his morning horse and try to do his best. A top hen won't ask no favors. He takes the good right with the bad, and he knows he won't face anything as tough as the Savior had. He works in constant danger and takes chances every day, but the Lord is right there with him as he shows and lights the way. Now I've been pinned down under snaky broncs with no one around to lend a hand, and come out just scratched and bruised, so I knew that God was in command. When I watch wild horses running with an old mare in the lead, my throat gets tight and my heart beats fast as God fills my special need. You can't stack money high enough for what God's bought for me, but he made me a buckaroo and sent his son to set me free. So as I ride across God's country with his handiwork all in view, that old hammer saddle makes a plumb good cowboy pew. Now as I work cows here on earth, I'm never at a loss, and I'll make that final roundup where Christ is wagon boss.
Pretty good hands we're going to leave this stuff in, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Just what we've been looking for. All right. Well, let's see. Most of my stuff is about cows. So this is a horse session.
Go ahead. Do a cow song.
Well, all right. When I worked on put our horses about cows, chase around, yeah. I worked in Ledor on the Powers Ranch, TU Ranch in '73, and we had a lot of trouble calving, and so the boss went into the Salmon Employment Office and brought out a guy named Monty that was just unbelievably fun to work with, a really neat old guy. And believe it or not, we used to fight over who got the nightcap with Monty. This is his story. Most folks take the daylight to earn up their living. They sweat in the sunlight. The dark takes their eyes. But now and again, you will find someone yawning while others are spawning their plans 9 to 5. And Monty the nightcapper climbs from his blankets. He's been asleep since the rooster's last crow. His breakfast is supper. His supper's just coffee. His sunshine is moonlight at 20 below. Well, there's always a heifer who's bound to have trouble. The first one's the hardest, the second's no fun. The third one is easy, the fourth one just falls out. And Monty gets called out when calving time comes. 'Cause he's always been prone to laying awake nights. He works best alone, at night he's the boss. He understands cows and he gets bored with people. The night drifts so deep that he busts with his hoss. And Monty the nightcapper climbs from his blankets. He's been asleep since the rooster's last crow. His breakfast is supper. His supper is just coffee. His sunshine is moonlight at 20 below. He grew up in Montana where he brushed out the coolies, snapped broncs on the gallon, then went to war, got stuck in a bottle, woke up in Nevada, 2 eyes looking sad as youth walked out the door. Well, he rides through the newborns, checking for scours. The first couple hours before darkness sets in, grafts shivering orphans onto poor grieving mamas and walks to supper in a half-brother's skin. And Monty the nightcapper climbs from his blankets. He's been asleep since the rooster's last crow. His breakfast is supper. His supper is just coffee. His sunshine is moonlight at 20 below. So it's off to this shed with a pan of warm water, pile of gunny sacks and stout pulling cord, 8th grade education with the hands of a doctor for minimum wages, plus room and board. Get a loop round its nose and now a front foot out. Her eyes, they roll back in her head as she strains. It's a bull, Monty chuckles, aggressive rising against the horizon of the Snake River Plain. And Monty the nightcapper climbs from his blankets. He's been asleep since the rooster's last crow. His breakfast is supper. His supper is just coffee. His sunshine is moonlight at 20 below. And he takes a short breather and sees the stars fading, remembering maidens he loved in his youth. No, he never got married, had too little to offer. The girls he fought for were cruel with the truth. Then Monty the nightcapper rolls in his blankets, a job short on thanks as well as the pay. But his slumber's more peaceful than that of the boss man. He goes to sleep knowing the trouble he saved. And Monty the nightcapper rolls in his blankets, a job short on thanks as well as the pay. But his slumber's more peaceful than that of the boss man. He goes to sleep knowing the trouble he saved. Wayne Nelson.
Hey, at least I can get up and walk. 2 weeks ago, they had to wheel me into the hospital because my legs didn't work anymore, and I had back surgery, and I could walk, folks. So give me, it takes me a minute to get up and down, but I can walk. Well, over the years, I've had the wonderful opportunity to start some really nice young horses and put the first 30 to 90 days on these young colts. And, it's been a wonderful experience. And as I had them come and go, there were a few that I didn't want to give back. They were coming so well, and I just, gosh, if I'd had the money, I could have bought them, but didn't. And as I talked to my friends, the vaqueros, who were starting the young cow horses on the ranches, I asked them about that. Asked them if they could keep some of the horses that they were working, and they said no. They had to turn theirs back as well. So it prompted this story. Adios, mi caballo. I will miss our rides together. There is much more for you to do beneath the creak of leather. Someone else will ride you now on a rancho far away. Carry him with strength. Make me proud of you, I pray. Stand quiet as he mounts you. Do not move until he asks. Be willing in your movements when completing all your tasks. At the end of each day's work, I will miss the smell of mesquite, mixed with sweat upon your coat, dried by the afternoon heat. We will say adios this night. I will turn and walk away. I won't be back to see you. You'll be gone come break of day. Little Rojo Caballo, you've become a part of me, but you're not mine to keep. I am the hired hand, you see. It's my job to ride and train these young ones raised year to year. And you are just one of many I've had to let go from here. So mi Rojo, remember all that I have taught to you. Work hard for these new riders. Oh, there is nothing you can't do. Adios, mi caballo. I will miss you, mi Rojo. I will breathe this dried mesquite and then, amigo, you must go. Adios, mi Rojo caballo. Adios.
Was a wild young Mustang, no bridle, no rein, full of fire and spirit inside. She was the last of a rare breed, born to run free, the horse nobody could ride. There were 100 young takers, they all tried to break her. The stories are told far and wide. But sure as the wind blows, each cowboy got thrown by the horse nobody could ride. Then down out of Cheyenne came a quiet and shy man, dared to try something that no man had tried. He sat down in the warm sun, 100 yards away from the horse nobody could ride. While she ignored him, then she moved in toward him. She circled then stood by his side. He whispered, "I won't hurt you." Then he reached out his hand to the horse nobody could ride. As he stood up and walked round, she lowered her head down, and softly upon her bare back he did slide. And with all of her fears gone, the cowboy rode off on the horse nobody could ride. Yes, with all of her fears gone, the cowboy rode off on the horse nobody could ride. On the horse nobody could ride.
I'd like to do this poem for you, and I wrote it about me and my sister. And my sister couldn't come with me this time. She has to work, and even though she graduated high school, she's got a friend that asked her to go to homecoming with her, so she stayed for the dance. But I wrote this poem because my sister's a pretty good riding buddy. She's taught me most of the things I know about horses. I'd like to share this poem with you. It's called The Last Fall Ride. It's called the mountain desert out where we reside. We saddle up the ponies and head out for a ride. On the banks of the Bear River with Sage on Deseret, it's places close to heaven, and we ride without a fret. There's deer and elk upon the mountains, and antelope out on the flat. I see beauty all around me through these eyes beneath my hat. Macaw's in my left hand, and we sat out on a rope. My feet firm in the stirrups, and my right hand holds the rope. It's just a pleasure trail ride, maybe check a cow or two. We ride along the fence line, underneath the sky of blue. Today I'm riding Chrissy, a solid sorrel mare. She's a horse I learned to ride on. She's gentle, and she's fair. With my sister right beside me on her pretty buckskin lace, we ride along together at a slow and steady pace. We rode upon some heifers that seemed to be astray. I checked the brand and recognized the arch above the J. Austin rides up to their left, and I just push him from the right. We move them north along the fence till we have their herd in sight. We live until they're grazing and we watch them for a while. I think about the life I live, and it brings me to a smile. Talking as we're riding about horses, spurs, and bits. Her reins we use for rope and things that we call split. Austin, she likes a snaffle with some pretty fancy tack. But for me, I'm more old-fashioned. I prefer a Boswell hack. We've rode away the morning, and we'll soon be home. Fresh water for the ponies, and we'll turn them out to roam. A midday sun is shining, and a breeze begins to blow. It's good to get in one last ride before the winter snow.
If you look at the map of Idaho, there's a great big smile, kind of, that it starts up at the Jackson Hole and comes down in kind of a semicircle and winds up over by Boise there, the Oregon border. It's the Snake River Plains. It's a wild, arid desert place. And just about every state in the West has one, a place like that. It's so high, wide, and lonesome, and most people driving through say, ugh, I want to go to someplace green and pretty, but when you're raised in a place like that, you learn to see the beauty of it, and this is my song in praise of the Snake River Plains. What I'd like you to do when my time has run out, take me out by the big butte and just lay me down. Let the coyotes have me, but the feds might complain. So scatter my ashes across the Snake River Plain. Tell the Indians I'm sorry for my people's greed. It's always our custom to take more than we need. Where they once rode their ponies, now it's all spuds and grain. But you can't steal the sunsets on the Snake River Plain. It's a plow-busting desert where volcanoes once roared in a time before memory when the lava rock poured. It's a god-awful wasteland, but it still calls my name. Scatter my ashes across the Snake River Plain. There are those gone before us, they paved the way. They're out there awaiting where the coyotes play. It's a cinch that we'll miss them much as we miss the rain that puts out the brush fires on the Snake River Plain. It's a plow-busting desert where volcanoes once roared in a time before memory when the lava rock poured. It's a god-awful wasteland, but it still calls my name. Scatter my ashes across the Snake River Plain. Give my loved one this message that I thought it best to be drifting forever across my place in the west. In the dusty red sunset, you'll see my remains. Scatter my ashes across the Snake River Plain. It's a plow-busting desert where volcanoes once roared in a time before memory when the lava rock poured. It's a god-awful wasteland, but it still calls my name. 'Cause you can't sink a fence post on the Snake River plain. Scatter my ashes across the Snake River plain.
How many of you have dated a rancher or a horseman or a cowboy? Gentlemen, put your hands down.
I just. Sorry. I don't.
Well, it's quite an experience, let me tell you. Now, you know, when we're writing poetry, they say, you really have a vivid imagination. No. Been there, done that. So, you may be careful. You may end up in one of my stories if it's really, you know, like this feller. He'd been looking forward to today. It'll be their second date. It's 5 a.m., the sun's come up. Dang, this rancher really hates to wait. Said she'd be here by 4:30 and meet him at his open gate. Must have stopped for gas or coffee, and that is no excuse for being late. Now, their first date went right well, he thought. Siphoned water to the stock. She took the hose, sucked in real deep. The backwash came as quite a shock. Water went spewing out her nose. She dang near drowned and choked to death. But he Heimlicked once, then again, pumped till she finally caught her breath. Getting dark, he explained to her old Rusty had lost each headlight. Handing her that massive searchlight, shoved her up on that hood in fright. Now, as she straddled the rusty hood, she was to light the road ahead. And she was fine till he hit that hull, skidded her through a cactus bed. Now, he told her he had some Band-Aids for her elbows, her knees, and head, and he used his pliers to pluck the spines. Her look filled him with instant dread. Didn't know a lady like her would know words like she was using. Well, finding this, he chucked her back up on the hood, finding all this quite amusing. Just stars and her to light the way. Oh, it was a real romantic night. How could she resist this rancher? He figured things were going right. Well, he's still waiting on that gal. But he's got good news when she appears. She's riding in the back today. Gets to pitch hay off to the steers. Then they'll preg check. First calf heifers. Then there's calves to brand and cut. Then she'll get to share the cab with him. And that manure-soaked healer mutt. You know, she's got to have something wrong with her not wanting to be together. Life doesn't get better than this. Cows and sweaty horses and leather. Well, someday the right gal will stop by who'll love this ranching way of life. She'll love his dog. She'll love his truck. And you know, she'll love being this rancher's wife.
5, I think.
Just 5?
Well, we go over because I don't think there's anything behind us, is there? We can go one more round. Mason hasn't nodded yes or no, so we're just going to get it done. Let's see, now I forgot what I was doing.
Out there on the prairie, a yellow stud runs free, running through the sagebrush, down through the coulee. They're not far behind him, the cowboy rides along, gonna try and catch him and bring him for his own. The chase goes on all morning and late into the day. The cowboy changes horses, he stays along the way. The stud is growing weaker now and getting short of wind. runs into a track corral. The cowboy shuts him in. Yellow stud with wild eyes and the fear and hated man are finally standing face to face in the hot and dusty sand. The battle starts and rages on beneath the burning sun. The cowboy tried but could not ride that yellow outlaw stud. So he sold him to a rodeo. It spread throughout the land. The legend of this yellow horse, baddest of the bad. Then one day at Cheyenne we knew it had to come. Best of all bronc riders drew that outlaw stud. The wooden gate flew open and that stud he bailed out high. The explosion of a yellow horse seemed to fill the sky. That stud kept growing stronger, thrashing up the earth. Cowboy blew a stirrup and crashed into the dirt. So violently that stud bucked that he slipped and fell. When he went down, his backbone snapped. The yellow stud lay still. As the cowboys gathered round him, I heard one of them say, "There'll never be another bronc like the one that died here today." But out there on the prairie, there's a mare with Mustang blood. A colt runs close beside her. It's a yellow outlaw stud. Out there on the prairie, a yellow stud runs free.
Well, I'll do this one. This is a Horsemen, and it's a little poem my dad found, and he said, learn this one. And so I did. And here it is. It's called The Tradition. You see, some folks just don't get it. They think owning a horse makes no sense. It takes too much time, too much equipment, and not to mention the expense. But the fondest memories of my life, they might think sound funny, were made possible by Mom and Dad, because they spent the time and spent the money. You see, the most important lessons, helping values grow so strong, come from loving horses and passing that tradition on.
Yeah.
Down at the mission San Miguel stands a great house wherein dwells Don Carlos and Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. I work at the ranch, I saddle her mare, I ride with a gun behind while she visits her friends here and there. She says, "Thank you, Manuel," or "Manuel, por favor." La Doña Maria Elena Cantrell. I dream of the mission San Miguel, and she said to me, "The mission bell." She is married, Manuel, the wife of the rancher Don Carlos Cantrell. You work at the ranch, you hold her chair, you carry her boxes, trunks, letters and books here and there. but I hear with my heart what she said with her eyes. With good evening, Manuel, for the carriage, Manuel. Por Manuel, por favor, por Manuel, close the door.
Well, this is a rancher story. Cowboys, horsemen, however you want to describe them. With some scrubs and a rangy bull, as Grandpa Jack began that place. Working hard 6 long days a week, Sunday was left for saying grace. A God-fearing man, he reckoned he knew his place upon this land. He was here to prove himself and show that he had some stand. He married young, a soulmate found in that western dark-haired lady, and by his side she'd ride and rope, and gave him a son they called Grady. As their son grew, so did the herd. Years of hard work produced the best. A new herd bull improved the stock, and Bali heifers helped too, he guessed. He was proud of the brand he built, proud of a wife who stuck it out. Proud of a son who's growing tall, being strong and stout. But now that lad was riding drag, keeping stray doggies with the herd, loving each minute of the day without complaint or ornery word. Mischievous as a spotted pup, his heart free as blowing sand, maturing to a strong young man and being proud of his father's brand. But no longer was he riding drag, but took to riding with his dad, being taught by the very best and sharing the knowledge that he had. And now he too has taken a wife, a rancher's daughter, hair of roan, and the two have improved their herd, have a son of their very own. Now as Grady stares back at the valley and watches cattle come behind, he sees his own son ride and drag, and many thoughts come to his mind. It won't be long till he is grown, takes his turn to improve the breed. He'll come from ride and drag, and then he'll gather up and take the lead. He'll have his turn to watch his son grow proud to be part of the brand, to make this way of life survive and be a steward of the land. Make sure the family brand stays true. Teach due respect for yesterday, so his son will see the future and gather up and lead the way.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of our set. I want to thank my friend, traveling partner, Sam DeLeeuw, Mr. Wayne Nelson, and Thatch Elmer. You've been carrying the load for a long time. I'm David Anderson. Thank you very much for putting up with us. Thank you.